Yeah, I'm coming at you guys with another one today. It's a video with a YouTuber by the name of Detailtron, and it's a video called "When Dumb People Get Arrested at Their Jobs." So let's not waste any time and get into it.
Especially when we're just starting out and still learning the ropes. But what if your mistake ends up with you in handcuffs? Here are 5 cases when dumb people got arrested at their jobs. Number 5. Cashier's hardware store heist. In movies, heists are meticulously plotted, often planned months or even years in advance. But the one we're about to share? Well, not so much. Here's the story of a cashier who didn't quite think things through. At a well-known hardware store in Little Rock, Arkansas, a scene unfolds that seems straight out of a classic crime story like Bonnie and Clyde. The cashier of the store, Callie Lewis, is at the center of all the drama, and she's not alone. She's teamed up with Nicholas Preston to pull off a daring heist right at their workplace. According to the report of the store manager, here's how it all went down. On a Friday, around 6:30 p.m., Nicholas was seen casually strolling in with a cart full of items and heading straight to Callie's register. But here's where it gets interesting. Callie slyly removes the security tags from the expensive items and scans only the cheaper ones. The duo probably thinks they're clever, outsmarting the system. But oh, how wrong they are. Jumping ahead to Saturday, the plot thickens. Nicholas makes a comeback, returning to the store to refund the less expensive items he bought the day before. Then, with sheer audacity, he strolls out with yet another cart filled with unpaid merchandise. Pretty clever, don't you think? Meanwhile, the store manager, having noticed something amiss, reviews the security footage. What he sees is a classic case of caught red-handed. Callie and Nicholas, clear as day, are seen executing their poorly thought-out plan. And that's when the officers enter the scene. After much discussion with the managers and other employees, they're led to Callie, who's sitting in the back, unaware that her short career in retail theft is about to come to a...
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
A crashing halt. The police, maintaining professionalism despite the absurdity of the situation, explain to Callie the gravity of her actions. They tell her that if the stolen items are valued under a certain amount, they'll issue a warrant for her arrest, and she'll be banned from the store.
If the amount is under a certain amount, and it's a seek warrants issue, then per the manager's request, we're going to ban you from the store.
Little does she know, she's in for more than just a slap on the wrist. Arkansas law is clear on theft. If the value is less than $1,000, it's a misdemeanor. But if the value is over that, or if it's part of a series of thefts, welcome to felony territory. Callie and Nicholas's grand total? Over $1,000. That's right. What started as a seemingly harmless act of theft at work has escalated to a felony. The officers instruct Callie to stand up and place her hands behind her back. She's under arrest for felony theft.
Go ahead and stand up. Spin around, put your hands behind your back for me. You're going to be placed under arrest for suspicion of theft of property, okay? We're going to go talk to Detective Hudson.
As her offense is being emphasized to her, you can almost see the realization dawning on her face. This is definitely not her brightest moment.
It's theft of property, okay? It's going to happen on Friday and Saturday, okay? All right?
Try to tell people you do stuff like this, man. You can't be greedy. If you do something like this, do it for a while, then stop. Then start back. You don't just keep doing it and keep doing it, man. If that's what you plan on doing.
Walk with Officer Aguilera. We're going to have to, is that personal property right there?
Callie's escorted out. Her personal belongings collected by Officer Aguilera.
I'll take it.
Is that your only personal property?
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing else?
Is that it too?
She's confused, scared, and probably wondering how a plan so simple could go so wrong. She asks if she'll be staying in jail.
I'm going to be staying in jail.
Right now, you're going to go talk to a detective, and that's going to determine what's going to happen.
And the officers explain that her fate now lies in the hands of Detective Hudson.
You think I'm going to go to jail?
You're going to talk to a detective. That's going to determine what's the next process.
What does that mean?
What's that?
While Callie sits inside the patrol car, she makes one last effort, maybe trying to explain her situation.
Let's,
Can I just be honest with y'all real quick?
I would rather you save that for a detective because that's going to be a statement, and I don't want to violate your rights. Okay? So save that.
Don't say nothing. Everything you say will be held against you. So don't say nothing crazy.
But the officers promptly advise her to save it for Detective Hudson. Here's a young woman with a job and a life ahead of her, now facing serious charges for stealing from her own employer. And for what? A few high-dollar items and a thrill that lasted less than 48 hours. Callie, in her attempt to be a sly thief, forgot one crucial thing. Security cameras are always watching, and in this digital age, nothing goes unnoticed. It appears that this isn't Callie's first encounter with the criminal justice system. She was sentenced to probation many years ago, but didn't adhere to it. Let's hope that this time around she learns from her past mistakes and stays out of trouble for good. As the police car drives away, Callie sits in the back, her future uncertain. One thing's for sure though, this is one work story she won't be bragging about. Number 4, test drive to jail. It's a sunny day, and a sleek orange Celine Mustang is purring on the road with a salesperson behind the wheel. But this isn't your typical test drive. It's a fast track to an unexpected destination, jail. Our protagonist, if we can call him that, is Mr. Gallegos, a car salesman from Reliable Chevrolet. He's out on a seemingly routine task, a test drive. But Mr. Gallegos isn't just showing off the car's features in a responsible manner. He's pushing the pedal to the metal, clocking a jaw-dropping 103 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. Talk about overdoing the sales pitch.
Excuse me. What kind of car do you drive?
A 2014 Corolla. Why?
And how much?
Officer
103 and 45. Now, come on, my guy. Even I know that's way too fast. Now, if you're doing maybe 50, maybe 60, or 70 maybe, but you doing 103. Come on, bro.
Officer Golson of the Albuquerque Police Department pulls over the speeding Mustang, probably expecting the usual excuses. But what he gets instead is an apology laced with a flimsy excuse. Mr. Gallegos is on a job, test driving for a customer.
Chris, I'm stopping you. You're doing 103 miles an hour in a posted 45-mile-an-hour zone. Do you have your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance?
Yes, I apologize, sir. I'm doing a test drive right now for the customer.
It's almost as if he expects a free pass for turning a public road into a racetrack just because he's on the clock.
I'm on my job. I'm sorry, bro. Here's my information right here. And then
The officer, maintaining his professionalism, asks for the usual: license, registration, and proof of insurance. Mr. Gallegos, now realizing the gravity of the situation, scrambles to provide the documents. He's apologetic, yes, but there's a hint of disbelief in his tone, as if he can't fathom how he could possibly be in trouble for this. But here's where it gets even more interesting. As Mr. Gallegos fumbles for the insurance details, Officer Golson's patience wears thin.
good luck. It's a company, so I'm trying to look through my photos right now. I'm sorry. I'll call them if I have to. I just know I have the photo.
He instructs Mr. Gallegos to step out of the car, and the reality of the situation sinks in. He's being arrested for reckless driving.
I have the photo.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Gallegos, I need you to step out of the car.
Okay.
Because right now you're under arrest for reckless driving.
Really?
Yeah.
I apologize, sir.
I don't care.
You can hear the disbelief in Mr. Gallegos' voice. He's clearly hoping it's just a bad joke.
Get out of the car. You're under arrest.
Can I call my boss to let him know?
In a little bit, but not right this moment, no.
But the handcuffs clicking shut around his wrist say otherwise. As he's seated inside the patrol car, he asks the officer if there's anything he can do about the situation.
Is there anything I can do, officer? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Old enough to know.
Kidding me?
Officer Golson calls Reliable Chevrolet. He speaks to a manager named Mike, explaining the situation in a tone that's equal parts incredulous and stern.
Hey, Mike, this is Officer Goldsmith, APD.
Yeah, say that.
It's okay. I'm out with a Damasio Gallegos and an orange Celine Mustang.
Mike's reaction? Shock, concern, and a hint of frustration.
And Mr. Gallegos is under arrest for reckless driving. He's doing 103 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone on quarters in this vehicle.
The officer, despite dealing with a situation that's as dangerous as it is absurd, offers the dealership a chance to retrieve their car, saving it from being towed.
I was going to tow the vehicle.
You driving a car like that, V8 like that, man. You doing 100, man. It feel like you doing 40 or 50. It don't even feel like you pushing it for real. So him doing 100, he probably didn't even feel like you were doing 100.
However, since it still belongs to the dealership, I figured I'd give you a call, give you an opportunity to come pick it up.
Just imagine if we had a great.
But wait, there's more. It turns out there was a passenger in the car, a silent witness to this high-speed folly.
The only one in it? So there was somebody in the passenger seat who I didn't identify, and he walked away.
This person, whose identity remains a mystery, walked away from the scene, probably counting their lucky stars for not being part of this mess. As the story unfolds, we see different shades of responsibility and recklessness. Officer Golson just doing his job, ensuring public safety. Mr. Gallegos, whose lapse in judgment not only cost him his freedom, but also put others at risk. And then there's reliable Chevrolet, caught in the crossfire of an employee's irresponsible act. This incident is more
No, you fired, buddy.
than just a tale of a dumb decision. It's a reminder of how our actions, especially at work, can have far-reaching consequences. Mr. Gallegos, in his quest to impress, or perhaps out of sheer thrill-seeking, forgot the basic tenets of safety and responsibility. And in doing so, he not only jeopardized his job, but also put the dealership in an awkward spot. As Mr. Gallegos sits in the back of the police car, handcuffed and heading to jail, one can't help but wonder what was going through his mind when he decided to floor it. Was it the thrill of speed, the pressure to make a sale, or just a momentary lapse of reason? Whatever it was, let us all remember that when we're at work, our actions don't just reflect on us. They echo the values and reputation of those we represent. Number 3. Amazon picker on the run. Meet Alex Barrett, an Amazon employee whose job as a picker is simple yet crucial. He's responsible for transferring merchandise from an endless array of automated containers into yellow tote bins, prepping them for their journey to customers. But Barrett has other plans for some of these items. As Barrett goes about his day, little does he know that his actions are under close scrutiny. The warehouse, a labyrinth of goods and gadgets, is also a fortress of surveillance. Every item and movement is tracked, leaving little room for error, or so one would think. Barrett, however, decides to test these boundaries. As per the Amazon security team, who caught his actions on surveillance footage, his modus operandi involves carefully opening factory-sealed packages, extracting the products, high-end electronics like Apple Watches and Beats earbuds, and then cunningly resealing the empty packages.
For it, so what he did was he reached inside a pod, picked the item out, ripped the package open, and conceals it in his pocket.
I see.
To the untrained eye, everything seems normal, but the ever-watchful eyes of the security cameras catch every detail of his sleight of hand. The moment of truth arrives when Barrett, perhaps feeling a false sense of security, takes a bit too long working a package.
So he definitely opened that package, but I didn't like notice him take anything out of it.
It takes him a second as it gets towards the end of the video.
It's this hesitation that becomes his undoing. As they review the footage, Barrett's technique becomes painfully apparent. His lingering at the bins, the careful manipulation of the packages, it's all there in high definition. The security team, having observed his actions, now has the evidence they need. They pinpoint the exact moment of concealment that marks the beginning of the end for Barrett's ill-conceived venture.
Right there.
Right there, that's the concealment. Yep, that's what they were showing me today.
Yeah, right there, buddy. Yeah.
The deputies closely observe as Barrett blindly carries out the disappearance of an Apple Watch, along with a couple of pairs of Beats earbuds. Confronted by deputies on the job site, Barrett's demeanor shifts from confident to uncertain. He's asked about the theft, and after some initial hesitation, he spills the beans.
They wanted me to confess what I'd taken.
Okay.
So you owned up to it, huh?
What was it?
He admits to swiping various items.
How many items? Okay. Were they all the same item or different? Okay.
Over several months.
The one thing, I'll be honest with you, I do really need to know is, like, was it yesterday or it was today? Oh, months ago?
Even selling some of them.
Is, like, we're gonna, like, resell them or?
Yeah, I already know what's up.
It's a confession that paints a picture of regret and desperation. The deputies, handling the situation with a mix of professionalism and empathy, indicate that Barrett might be released with a summons for a later court appearance, provided his account holds up.
If what you're telling me is true, then I'm probably not taking you into custody today. If what you're telling me is true. I just have to confirm with them, like, when it happened.
But here's where Barrett's story takes an interesting turn. Rather than seizing the opportunity for redemption, he vanishes into the night. Instead of confronting his actions responsibly, he opts for evasion, leaving behind a trail of mysteries and a looming arrest warrant. This choice morphs a simple case of workplace theft into a gripping manhunt, injecting intrigue into what might have been a straightforward legal process. In a facility where technology reigns supreme, tracking every item and movement, Barrett's belief that he could outsmart the system is audacious. The irony of Barrett's situation is hard to miss. Here he is, working in one of the most advanced logistical operations in the world, yet he resorts to a crime as old as time, theft. And not just any theft, but one carried out in a place brimming with surveillance and tracking technologies. But it's not just the act of theft that makes Barrett's story stand out. It's his reaction when caught. Initially cooperative, he admits to his actions and seems to accept the consequences. Yet, when given the chance to face the consequences, he vanishes, turning a case of theft into a larger saga of evasion and legal entanglement. As the video comes to a close, Barrett's fate remains uncertain. The warrant for his arrest looms large, a constant reminder of a choice poorly made. His story serves as a lesson that in the world of modern logistics and surveillance, the old adage still holds true: crime doesn't pay. And for those who think they can outsmart the system, remember the tale of Alex Barrett, a picker who tried to play the system and ended up playing himself. Will Alex Barrett ever emerge and confront his charges?
It's time for you to get divorced. No, not that kind of divorce. It's time for you to...
Charges? It's a mystery only time can unravel. Number 2. Tipsy teacher on the first day of school. We all understand the importance of being prepared for school. It's not just about bringing your books and supplies, but also about being ready for exams and assignments. This holds true for teachers as well. However, in the case of elementary teacher Kimberly Coates, she decides to bring more than just her teaching materials to school. It's early morning, the sun is barely up, and the school is buzzing with the innocent chatter of young minds. But in Ms. Coates' classroom, things are a bit off. She's not her usual self, and it doesn't go unnoticed. The principal, sensing something amiss, steps in with Officer Dean.
Just observing you in the classroom, it looks like something's off a little bit. And so I've asked Officer Dean to come in here and visit with you.
They're not there to discuss lesson plans. They're there to address a suspicion that's far more serious.
Have you taken anything that's, do you have a prescription for anything that maybe you have taken today that just seems like you're not the same person that I talked to this morning?
Kimberly, with a nervous glance, tries to play it cool. She's asked about medication, a subtle hint at the concern brewing. She mentions anxiety meds taken the night before, her words laced with uncertainty.
I did take some medication last night to help me with sleep because I have some anxiety stuff.
Kimberly flatly denies taking anything at school.
So you haven't taken anything while you were at school?
No.
But both the principal and Officer Dean aren't convinced. The plot thickens as Kimberly agrees to a breathalyzer test.
Would you
they probably can smell it on you, woman.
If I needed
They
to,
can
yeah.
smell the liquor on
You have to wonder how someone can be so confident in denying wrongdoing when they know they're intoxicated and there's no way to fool the test. After a couple more excuses, she blows into the device.
I don't know how to do this.
You're just going to blow into it like you're blowing up a balloon as soon as I tell you to.
Especially when you first wake up.
Take a big deep breath.
Early in the morning.
Blow, 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 blow,
Especially
blow,
when
blow,
you
blow,
first
blow,
start
blow, blow.
And the result is staggering, a blood alcohol content of 0.24, 2 times the legal limit.
I didn't drink it sweet.
That wouldn't blow that right there.
You blew 2 times the legal limit.
I did.
Yeah.
It's a revelation that shocks but doesn't surprise. The evidence is clear. Kimberly isn't just under the weather, she's under the influence.
You blew like a 0.24.
I don't know what that means. What's
Legal limit's 0.08.
okay?
As the interrogation continues, Kimberly's story unravels. She admits to a drinking problem and says that she's seeing a counselor.
Do you drink often?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to understand why.
No, I'm seeing a counselor.
But insists she only drank the night before, yet the evidence suggests otherwise. The officer decides to conduct an eye test to further assess her condition.
Yeah, she's intoxicated.
And confirms her recent intoxication. He suggests that she contact her husband for a ride, but she adamantly refuses. The officer warns her about the consequences of driving under the influence and offers her a way out, a simple call to her husband for a ride. However, something, perhaps pride or fear, holds her back. She hesitates, torn between the embarrassment of admitting her mistake and the impending legal consequences. As emotions begin to surface, the officer seizes the opportunity to inspect her drink. But finds nothing suspicious in it. The situation escalates. Kimberly, now caught in a web of her own making, faces the consequences. The principal, with a heavy heart, gives her an ultimatum: resign or face termination.
Am I going to get fired?
Honestly, yes.
Wow. That's why she don't want to go home.
It's a harsh reality check. Kimberly, an educator entrusted with young minds, has crossed a line that's not just unprofessional, but dangerous. Kimberly apologizes profusely for wasting everybody's time and says she'll call someone. There's just one problem. Her phone is in the classroom, and she can't retrieve it. So the principal, clearly annoyed, stands up and fetches her phone. The officer seizes the moment to question Kimberly further. He asks her about her counselor visits, and she mentions going every other week, although she doesn't find it very helpful. The officer maintains a calm and friendly demeanor, assuring Kimberly that he doesn't think she's a bad person. Still, he emphasizes the importance of getting to the truth and ensuring she's not hiding anything. While she's in...
Yeah, sometimes bad decisions have consequences. And sometimes the consequences, hey, you get fired from your job, sometimes it happens. So you gotta take it, when you doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing, you know what happened.
In tears, the principal returns to the room with her purse in one hand and a blue cup in the other.
More games, right? Yeah. What is in that?
The officer catches a strange smell from the cup, which piques his curiosity.
Gonna try again? That there is wine.
I thought that was from yesterday.
Rather than simply owning up to it, Kimberly comes up with yet another excuse.
From home. I was in there to that this morning.
In her desperation, she asks the officer how she can make things right, to which he responds that she should just be honest with him.
Okay, what do I need to do to make everything right?
I just wanted honesty. That's all I wanted.
I drank out of that yesterday. I didn't drink out of it today.
The officer's skepticism is evident, and he persists in questioning her.
Well, where's the cup that you drank out of
He
today?
don't believe you. He don't believe nothing you saying.
Is it in your classroom too?
I don't think so.
Time is running out, and the officer's leniency has its limits. Kimberly, still grappling with the
No, you don't ever hesitate like that and say you don't think so. You tell them no, and you stick with it. You already fucked up.
Gravity of her situation fails to make the call. It's a decision, or lack thereof, that seals her fate. The officer briefly steps out of the room. However, upon his return, he deems it's time to take her into custody. Her lack of cooperation has exhausted his patience.
Please, I'll call somebody. I have somebody right here in town that will come get me.
Too late.
Please.
What's your date of birth, Kimberly?
Please.
The officer had attempted to reason with her for a considerable amount of time, and Kimberly could have been on her way home had she simply made a call.
I'm not doing it. You had your chance to be honest,
Well,
and,
I did.
and then you wiped this out.
But please let me.
Nah, they ain't trying to hear
Then,
that.
another twist emerges. While the officer is away, Kimberly attempts to clean the cup, making it appear as though it hasn't been used.
I should charge you with tampering with evidence.
Please let me.
Really?
Please let me call.
Hold on now. So when they leave, you gonna try to wipe the cup out? Man, at that point, you should have just told them you drunk the wine. You might have well just had told the truth at that point. Now you for sure making it for sure that you drunk wine, alcohol, whatever it was. You letting them people know for sure that you guilty or something. Come on, man.
No, it is over.
Oh, it's done.
No more.
It's over.
No more. I'm done.
The moment of arrest is a sobering climax.
No, I don't want to.
You want to go to jail?
it's
for
No.
multiple charges?
No.
Put your hands behind your back.
Please don't do this.
Kimberly is handcuffed, her pleas echoing in the empty hallway.
Another chance is over.
Please.
Let's go.
Trying to hear that.
Grab that cup.
I ain't trying to hear that. You should have.
No.
It's a walk of shame, but not through the bustling corridors filled with students. The officer, in a gesture of kindness, escort her out the back, away from curious eyes.
You can go right this way and then go around back to the cafeteria. Is that where you were?
Yeah. Made your own situation twice as bad.
Her keys to the building, if we know where those are.
There's some keys in here.
As she's led to the police car, the reality of her situation sinks in. This isn't just a bad day at work. It's a life-changing event. Her career, reputation, her freedom, all hang in the balance. The drive to the Payne County Jail is a quiet one, the silence heavy with unspoken words and unshed tears. Number 1, woman gets drunk at work and refuses to leave. At the top of our list is a prime example of how bad decisions at work can spiral out of control. Let's not go down the same rabbit hole, yes? Naylene Tierra, a 21-year-old working at a Chevrolet dealership, finds herself in a sticky situation. It's February 20th, 2023, a day that's about to take a turn for the worse for her. She's been caught intoxicated at work, a big no-no in any job, let alone at a car dealership. But it's not just the drinking that's the problem. It's what happens next that really lands her in hot water. Opening the video, the Chevrolet dealership manager shares how they discovered that Naylene was drinking on the job.
He was on the phone, and one of my other employees downstairs heard the person that she was on the phone with. He stopped drinking while on the job.
He goes on to explain that the decision to terminate Naylene had already been made, right before the officer's arrival.
So we just terminated her like probably 10 minutes before I called you guys. And she's refusing to leave.
Okay, so you heard direct supervisor?
Yeah, I'm the manager.
As Officer Caproni enters the room, this is how Naylene greets
Why
him.
you people do that? Leave.
Hey ma'am, how are you?
You making it worse on yourself.
Hi.
You doing okay?
Yeah, hi, what's your name?
It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? She's talking to the officer like she still has a job, even though she got fired just 10 minutes ago. When asked if she had any idea why he was there, this is how she responds.
Do you have any idea why I'm here?
No clue. Just,
Would you like to know what I'm here for?
that's your problem.
Oh, you know what it is.
But here's where things start to spiral. Naylene, perhaps still under the influence or maybe just in denial, refuses to leave the premises. She's adamant about staying put, despite her now former employee's requests. Officer Caproni tries to reason with Naylene, but she's not having any of it. She's in full defiance mode, claiming to be a law student and a paralegal.
Yeah, I'm also in law school. If
Man,
you
they
want
don't
to take
care
down
about
my
that, man.
lawyer's information.
Well, I don't want to talk to you yourself. You was
Yeah.
using.
Man, when them people coming to get you, they don't care nothing about your career. They don't care how many fucking degrees you got. Nothing like that. They don't care about none of that, man. When you committed a crime and it's something they done made their mind up about or what they want to do, they gonna do it. So you can sit here and talk about. Cause once they made their decision, once they make their decision, that's final. So.
Yeah, okay,
So she was administrator type of thing?
She even asks for the officer's badge number, hinting at legal action.
Okay, so I want your ID number with your first and last name so I can
You
talk
gotta-
to my lawyer.
you're gonna get it.
Yes, because I'm in law school.
But let's be real. Showing up drunk to work and then refusing to leave after being fired? Not exactly the makings of a strong legal case. As the officer and the dealership staff repeatedly ask her to leave, Naylene's stubbornness only grows. She decides to call her mom, hoping for a rescue.
Okay, so let me just call my mom and let me just have her. You obviously aren't professional.
The officer emphasizes that the company has already terminated her and requested her to leave.
I mean, so it's my understanding they're terminating your employment here at the Chevrolet?
Well, what's confirmed is that I need to have someone pick me up.
And plot twist, her mom isn't coming to her aid.
You can hang up the phone too. Okay, so I asked my mom to come on the way.
Your mother told me she's not picking you up.
So what's my mom's name?
I don't know. She was on the phone.
This leaves Naylene in a bit of a pickle. She's been asked to leave, her ride isn't coming, and the police are involved. Not exactly a great day at the office. Naylene makes another attempt to call her mom, putting her phone on speaker for everyone to hear their conversation.
Hi, Mom. So tengo la policía aquí diciendo que yo necesito irme de los premises, que yo necesito alguien que me recoja.
However, as you might have noticed, she spoke to her mom in Spanish, which doesn't exactly persuade the officers or the people in the office. The situation escalates when Officer Caproni decides it's time to physically escort Naylene out.
Going outside. We're
Are
going
you
outside.
touching me?
Let's go outside. We've asked you to leave. Let's go.
Grab your purse.
We're going outside. Let's go.
Are you touching me?
Yes, everyone's asked you to leave. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is where things get a bit messy. Naylene resists, leading to a scuffle.
Time to go outside.
I will pick myself up, but don't touch me.
Okay, let's go outside.
Okay,
We've
let me
asked you
grab
to
my
leave.
purse. Let me grab my purse, but do not touch me. Okay,
Outside.
but my lip gloss.
She's handcuffed and arrested.
We've asked you to leave. It's time to go. That's okay. All right.
Check out my mouth.
All right. Put your hands on your neck. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
All while protesting loudly.
That's my. Like, what are you guys doing? That's my purse.
What are you doing to yourself? That's the question.
The question
You've been
is.
drinking a lot today. I don't know what you were drinking, my dear.
Accusing the dealership of wrongful actions and threatening to sue. It's a classic case of things going from bad to worse. As Naylene is being led away in handcuffs, she continues to shout about suing the dealership.
No one wanted me to leave. But guess what? This whole place is gonna be sued. It's gonna be sued.
She's adamant that she's been wronged, despite the evidence to the contrary. It's a bit of a sad sight, really. Naylene's case is particularly interesting because of her claims of being a law student and a paralegal. You'd think someone with legal knowledge would know better than to resist arrest or refuse to leave after being fired. But as the saying goes, common sense isn't always so common. As she's escorted out, Naylene's frustration is clearly evident.
Stop moving around.
What? I'm in law school. I have a clean record.
Man, they don't
Like we said, you could have just left.
She's lost her job, she's being arrested, and her threats of legal action seem more like a desperate attempt to regain some control over the situation. As she's about to step into the patrol car, she throws out this utterly untrue and absurd comment.
I wanted to leave. I tried to leave. They wouldn't let me.
It's over. It's over.
It didn't seem like that.
They wouldn't let me.
Other way.
That ain't gonna help.
Now, what's the deal here? Did she have an out-of-body experience while everyone was trying to get her to leave? Or is she just too intoxicated to think straight? In the end, Naylene's story is a mix of defiance, poor decision-making, and a lack of understanding of the seriousness of her actions. It's a situation that could have been easily avoided had she simply walked away and moved on. If she had complied the first time her managers asked her to leave, The police wouldn't have even needed to be called in the first place. However, due to her actions, she now finds herself facing charges of disturbing the peace, trespassing, and resisting arrest. So what can we learn from Nayleen's misadventure? First, showing up to work intoxicated is never a good idea. Second, when you're asked to leave your job, it's probably best to just go. And finally, threatening legal action when you're clearly in the wrong might not be the best strategy. And there you have it, a rundown of the most ludicrous cases of people getting caught on the wrong side of the law while at work. I still can't...
Well, that's it. Well, that's it, everybody. Yeah, shout out to Detail Tron for the video. And that'll be all for today, people.